Whirlwind romance seemed too good to be true, seemed like super fast, seemed like you fell in love with your soulmate. What's actually happening? You might be dealing with a toxic person and a narcissist, especially when that happens and then all of a sudden the mask starts to fall off. Love bombing, a common tactic that narcissists use, can leave you feeling overwhelmed and deceived when you start to realize that all the affection, all the attention, all the pedestal that the narcissist built and put you up on was just fake, was just a facade, and you wonder what was actually real. Today we're going to talk about love bombing. But what I want you to see and understand today is this aspect of love bombing, breaking it down, giving you different examples so you can recognize it and be able to move through it so that it doesn't control you and it doesn't bring you to the place where you're getting deceived by it. So stick with me as we jump in and talk through the aspect of love bombing and how it's showing up on a day-to-day basis in your life. So 4 ways that narcissists love bomb you and how to catch it. First one is talking about this aspect of drowning in affection. Narcissists give this aspect of excessive flattery and attention to you at the very beginning, like giving you excessive compliments, giving you attention, giving you affection to give this illusion of it being a perfect relationship. They seem like the perfect partner. They seem like your soulmate. They seem like if you could ask or think of anybody to be the best person ever, they would fit that. And it's amazing how they seem to fit all the boxes that you've set up in your life, being like, if I had someone who checked off all these boxes, we would be perfect. And in the relationship, they're like, so what are you looking for in a relationship? And you tell them all the boxes, and then they go home, add all those boxes up, show up as a completely different person, and you fall in love. Okay, this is the hard part, is narcissists will do this to be able to convince you of what's actually going on. So one of the ways they do that is through love bombing, giving this overwhelming display of affection and attention. Like giving you gifts, giving you constant text back and forth, constant communication. Like all of this stuff feels excessive and it feels like it's a piece of flattery. What it does is it starts to pump you up. On the aspect of building a pedestal, it starts to build layers upon layers upon layers of a pedestal that you sit on that they control, because they built up the pedestal themselves with the affection, the attention that they're giving you on a day-to-day basis. This excessive flattery creates this false sense of intimacy, and a false sense of a connection makes it difficult for you to see the manipulation that's underneath. Because you're like, this is amazing. This is perfect. This is the best thing ever. You might meet him and he's charming. He's so amazing. But when with days he starts to bombard you with affection messages, where you're connected, where you get these lavish gifts, these declarations of his love. Like it's almost like you're just swept off your feet by the intense feelings, believing that you found the perfect match. That's one aspect. Now, number 2, the rapid escalation of intimacy, acceleration of the relationship. Narcissists want to accelerate the relationship because if we can speed past a lot of the things, you will get locked into the relationship and you won't notice that I'm a toxic person. So let's speed past it as quick as we can. Okay, narcissists use love bombing in this aspect to accelerate the pace of the relationship, moving from strangers to soulmates in record time. Like this is where you're like, I just met him yesterday and I'm in love with him. Okay? We get to this place where people fall in love really quickly. Like there's been countless people that are like, yeah, we got married after like a week. We got married in like a month of knowing each other. Because the whole aspect is like, let's fall in love really quickly with a soulmate. Narcissists are great at accelerating this. Love bombing does this in a way to create a sense of urgency, to create this intensity of like, it's an intense relationship. It's amazing. And they're pushing for this progression in the relationship, making the declarations of love, discussing future plans, and even hinting at marriage early on. First date, and he's mentioning like, man, we'd make great kids together. And you're like, oh my gosh, like I want kids too. And all of a sudden you find yourself talking about the future stuff when you haven't dealt with the present stuff. Who in the world is this guy? So you need to be able to understand this stuff first. But hinting at what's coming, talking about future plans, putting your thought process in the future. Like if the narcissist can take you in the moment and can cast you into the future with them and paint a perfect picture, then the stuff that happens in the moment seems like it's an okay sacrifice because of what you get. If the narcissist can tie you into this aspect of like what you get down the road, you will sacrifice so much in the present. But this like whirlwind of like love bombing brings you to a place where you get overwhelmed And it makes you get emotionally invested even more because of what's happening and how fast the pace is. So think of it this way. You've gotten involved with a narcissistic person. Within weeks, they propose, moving in together. And all of a sudden, you're moved in together, talking about starting a family. You're captivated by the intensity of the connection, not the actual intensity of that person's love and affection. It's different. Not realizing that they're manipulating your emotions. They're manipulating what's actually happening. They're talking a good game, but it's actually not actually true. Because of the speed, because of the progression, because like, well, we know what we want. And then you move in together and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose because you start to see the mask fall and the mask drop because the whole love bombing piece was let me get you caught. All right, so then moving into number 3, cutting ties with other people. And this is the place where narcissists bring you to a place of isolation and dependence on them. Now, love bombers do this in the aspect of isolating you from your friends and family, creating this dependency on the narcissist for the emotional support and the validation because of what they're providing, what they're showing up as. Like they're providing all these things of like creating this bubble around you of this amazingness of how amazing they treat you, but then you don't get that when you're with other people. Like it's like a reverse way of like trying to keep you isolated of like, but you get all this from me. So why would you want to go see that with other people? And it slowly discourages you from spending time with other people. Like they might criticize your friends, your family, your loved ones, make you feel guilty for seeking support. And this piece slowly isolates you. Now, it doesn't fall necessarily like 100% love bombing, but it's meant of like, let me love bomb you so you feel it differently when I pull it back. When I slowly pull it away because you spent more time with a family member. Because you spent more time doing something on you versus time with me. But then you spend time with me and like, oh my gosh, let me love bomb you. Let me give you some of the stuff that you want. But when that happens with another person, yeah, no, I was going to do those plans, but I don't really want to anymore. I was going to spend that money for you, but I don't really want to do that anymore. Not right now. And it's like this push-pull of trying to make sure that you conform to their desires. You conform to what they actually like think. Like, this is what I want. Okay, let me see if I can break it down a little bit more. Think of it this way: over time, the narcissist subtly undermines your relationships, make you feel like the narcissist is the only one that understands and that cares, that like is able to like give them the gifts, the idea, the thoughts, the attention, the admiration, all this kind of stuff that actually gets them, while the other people don't. This slowly leaves you vulnerable to just the narcissist manipulation because you're like, well, he gets me. Like it's intense and it's an amazing relationship. Like I don't have that with other people. Slowly will isolate you. Okay, then we move into the 4th piece, and this is painting the picture of forever using even love bombing, of like promising you all these things. A lot of this is like future faking, this intense future focused talk. But this happens really quickly early on in the relationship of having these grandiose future plans to lure you in. So they're like giving you this amazing stuff, this attention, affection. Some of that attention can be directed towards, hey, this is the future. This is the things that I'm seeing. Like, this is what I can't wait to experience with you. And giving the illusion of this perfect future together. If it's perfect now, with how amazing it feels like with the love bombing, only extrapolate that out 20 years. Like, it's going to be even better when we have kids, when we have a family, when we're doing all this kind of stuff, whatever it might look like. It'll be custom tailored to you, so you have to be careful of that. Love bombers oftentimes weave this like narrative of the perfectness of now being projected in the perfectness of the future so that you stay their target and under their control. Talking about marriage, talking about kids, talking about different aspects that you want. Shared dreams, creating a vision of everlasting happiness. This whole piece of like, let me tie you in to the love bombing now that will always be here because of how amazing I am and how amazing this relationship is. Elaborate plans that make you feel valued and desired. So the love bombing can be present, but it also can be kind of future casted a little bit. So like you're in the place where you're falling trapped to the future plans. Like discuss exotic vacations, dream homes, retirement together, whatever it might be. And you're captivated by the promise of a perfect life, not realizing that it's just emotional manipulation. Because there's nothing actually following through. There's nothing that actually shows up in a consistent way of, oh, this is actually going to happen based on what you're actually seeing. So like you need to be able to understand narcissists will use this tactic of pumping you up, pushing you up. They'll move through this piece of like moving quickly, of future faking the future dreams, of making you view that this relationship now is going to be perfect in the future. Those don't happen and those don't last. The hard thing is the majority of people will not see love bombing till after the relationship, till once they've broken up, till once they've moved on. So if you're getting a relationship now and this person is being excessive with their love, excessive with like the gifts and their attention, and you're just like, wow, it's coming on really quick. Bring in some other people that know you that might be able to give you advice. It helps prevent against that isolation piece, and it helps to give you another perspective. So many times people do not have perspective because the people in their life have been pushed away based on what you keep telling them or how the narcissist has been undermining different relationships to keep you isolated. So bringing in other people can help, especially when you feel like, hey, this is like overwhelming. There's a lot. Also, when you see it going too fast. When you see it going too fast, slow it down. Start to say no. Start to put a timeline. Start to be like, hey, I actually want to see how this works out first. I want to be able to slow this down. Then with the future faking aspect of like painting a perfect picture down the road, start to ask for plans. Start to ask for the ideas. Start to ask for actionable measures that can be tracked so you can see, is this person actually going to follow through, or are they just making it up? Are they just saying this to be able to keep me stuck? Know that a narcissist will do anything and everything to keep you stuck in the relationship. And as soon as you pull back or out of the relationship, all of that will change drastically. Narcissists love to be able to love bomb and try to confuse you just to stay in the relationship one more day. And if they can make it intense, connected, and amazing, even on a surface level, a lot of times you'll stay longer than you want to because you're confused about what you're currently in.